What day is it today? It is Tuesday, March 29th. It's also the first day of school. It's also 2 days after Easter. It's also 2 days after the 3-year mark after Baker and I met. It's also the week after spring break. It's also the day that I go and practice guiding 3 of my friends through yoga. It's also the day I realize I wish I made twice as much money as I do, than I do. It's also the day I feel guilty for not talking to, not guilty, but I don't know. It's been a while since I talked to my mom. I thought I was gonna call her on Sunday, and I thought I was gonna call her on Monday, and I think I'm gonna call her after this. It's also the day that Baker goes camping with his friends, and so it's 2 days before Baker comes back, safe and sound, happy. Yeah, that's today. I think that's all. Ooh, it's also the day after I went to salsa class. I went to a salsa class last night with a teacher who, his name is Antonio. I went to his bachata class last Wednesday and I loved it, and it was easy. I feel like I've taken a handful, somewhere between, let's say, 8 classes. Let's say I've taken 8. No, okay. I was going to say 8 salsa classes, but I've taken some salsa, some cumbia, some bachata. Let's say I've taken 15 classes in all, 5 of each. I don't know how accurate that is, maybe less. But I've taken these classes with my mommy in California, and so, but I hadn't taken Latin class with this instructor in town before until his bachata class last Wednesday and salsa class last night. I went to bachata last Wednesday and it was awesome. It felt easy, and I think it's just because I've figured out how to follow. As long as you've got the rhythm, you know, the 1, 2, 3, pause, 5, 6, 7, pause, 1, 2, 3, pause, 5, 6, 7, pause. As long as you know that rhythm and keep moving your feet to that rhythm, it's pretty easy to follow, or at least I have that skill down, I think, for the most part. And so bachata was a lot of fun. I got to be the instructor's partner the whole time because there was 3 couples plus me and the instructor. So the 3 couples stayed together, danced with themselves the whole time, and then I danced with the instructor the whole time. And then the instructor was like, "Oh, you dance really well. You want to come to my salsa class on Monday and try it out for free?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I went to salsa class last night. I went to, the way that it's scheduled, there's a beginner class from 6 to 7:15, and then an advanced class from 7:30 to 9. And so I went to the beginner class, and I stayed for the advanced, and they felt like they were the same difficulty level for me because, like I said, following is its own skill. Like, I don't have to be the one learning where to push and where to pull and where to turn with the hand and the body and stepping away and stepping towards and oh, I'll call you back, sorry. And Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. Um, it's a lot of fun when you are dancing with someone who knows how to lead and who is a good lead. And for that reason, it was much more fun to be in the advanced class than in the beginner class, because the advanced leads, I feel like they do all the work. I feel like I'm just getting twirled around, and I let myself get twirled around, and that's just it. Obviously, I feel like, I mean, I'm only 5 minutes in, and I feel like most of my talking has been about that class, so I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't know if I feel like I learned a whole lot, so I don't know how much I'm going to be going back, um, but it was certainly fun, and I know I will go back. I just don't know if it'll be like an every week thing. Um, yeah. Uh, So, what's up? I had a really good Easter. It was so good. It really turned around. The day started out. When the day started, it felt like the worst Easter ever because I was just sad. I was just like, it's Easter and I have no one to celebrate with, and no one wants to go to church with me or have brunch or do an egg hunt with me or anything. And I have this like egg dyeing kit that I haven't used yet. I bought brown eggs last week, so I don't know if you can dye with brown eggs. Um, I guess you probably could. It would just, the colors would be darker or something. But yeah, so I was really sad in the morning, and Baker was here with me, and I started crying at one point, and he was like, "Oh no, what's wrong?" And so he ended up he ended up going to church with me. He was like, "I'll go to church with you." I was like, "Okay, let's go to not Catholic church because I know you're gonna hate that, and I'm just gonna feel bad knowing that you hate it. Um, but let's go to the Unitarian Fellowship." um, or as I like to call it, hippie church. Um, and that was really nice. It was my first time going there, but I had heard about it, and I've been to the Unity Church and the Center for Spiritual Living, and so um, I had an idea of what it would be like, and I'm really glad that I went, and I'm really glad that Baker went with me. It was very truthful. It felt clear, um, which is not what it feels like a lot of the time in Catholic Church to me. When I go to Catholic Church, I'm constantly like correcting things in my head. Like they'll say one thing and I'll say to myself something else. um, like, um, like, Lord, I am not worthy to receive you, but only say the word and I shall be healed. I say, Lord, I am receiving you. Thank you for my wholeness, something like that. Um, so, so I went to Unitarian Fellowship with Baker, and that was really nice. And we actually ran into a friend there, and I ran into someone else that I've practiced yoga with there. She actually did the 40 Days to Freedom program with me, and so that was nice. And so I went to that mass, and then Baker went to work, and then I went to Catholic Spanish Mass by myself because even when I was down in California living with my family and we went to church together, we would go to the English church, not the Spanish church. But this was kind of like a two birds with one stone deal for me because I really wanted Catholic Mass, and I'm also kind of missing the Spanish language and the Spanish culture. Um, so so I went to Spanish Mass, and that was a little difficult for the reason aforementioned, and also because just the quality of service was kind of disappointing. Like the priest, um, is not a native Spanish speaker. So the language is a little off, and it's just kind of this painful reminder of I don't know what, like why isn't there a Hispanic priest teaching this, doing the Spanish Mass? Like, why do you, this is gonna sound, I don't want to sound racist or anything, and I don't think this is a racist statement, but like, why is the white guy doing a Mexican thing? like, like, why, why can't a Hispanic do it? Why isn't a Hispanic doing it? Why isn't? Why isn't? Anyway, and it's just like, he's also kind of butchering the language a little bit, and I mean, he was better than any other non-native Spanish speaker I've heard, I guess, but still not the same. And we're just, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying not to be mean. I hope that wasn't mean, but it's just not what I wanted. So Cry, Unitarian Fellowship with Baker, Spanish Mass by myself, and then it was also the Rock and Gem Club was having a fair at a park, and so Baker and I went to the fair, and we got to, it was basically a rock museum, a rock and gem and fossil and shell museum. We even got to see fluorescent rocks, like rocks under black light. That glow, different colors. That was really nice. Someone complimented my hood scarf. I make these infinity scarves with really thick, fuzzy baby blanket yarn, and then I add a hood to it. So you've got a hood with a scarf hanging down, and then you can wrap the scarf over to be a little more snug. And I got a compliment on it, so I gave her my business card, and I hope she wants one, because she said she's a massage therapist and she would like to do a trade, or that she does trades sometimes, so that was nice. And then after that, Baker went back to work, and I went over to my friend Missy's house, and we watched Gilmore Girls together, and we had really yummy dinner. It was a Thanksgiving-style dinner, like turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing and sweet potatoes and all that. It was really good. And then after that, while I was at Missy's, Baker texted me, and he was like, "What time are you going to be home? I have a surprise for you." I was like, what time do you want me to be home? And so after Missy's, I met Baker at my house, and he had this surprise for me, but he said it wasn't quite ready. He said that I had to go sit in my roommate's room for a while. She wasn't home, and it's fine, I think, for me to hang out in her room for like 10-15 minutes while Baker got my surprise ready. And I could hear him doing stuff in the kitchen, and I could hear him doing stuff in the living room, and I was like super curious. I had Maggie with me and a book with me, and I was just like hearing all these things and super curious. And eventually it was time for me to come out, and he had put a scavenger hunt together for Easter for me, because he saw me cry earlier in the day. I was like sad. So he put this scavenger hunt together, and there was like 16 different eggs filled with 3 different kinds of chocolate and blackberries and dehydrated mangoes in them, all over the house, which is why I couldn't be in my room, because he wanted to hide them in my room. And then another special egg. This egg had a note in it that said, "Will you go horseback riding with me for our 1-year anniversary? Because we will have dated for 1 year on April 18th, which is a couple weeks from now." So that was really sweet. It really turned my whole Easter day around, Easter holiday around. Yeah, that was really nice. I haven't made one of these videos in a long time, so I'll probably make another video tomorrow that fills in the blanks of all the other things that I have done and want to talk about. But I think we'll call it on this one. Love you!